The Great Depression. Are we doomed to repeat it? During the Great Depression, unemployment in the U.S. soared to 25%, leaving millions without jobs, homes, or hope. Today, as economic uncertainty grows and talk of new tariffs hits headlines again, many are asking, are we repeating history? The Great Depression wasn't just a stock market crash. It was a full-scale economic collapse that reshaped the world. From 1929 to the early 1940s, banks failed, industries collapsed, and families stood in breadlines while governments scrambled for solutions. It was the worst economic disaster in modern history, and yet today, nearly a century later, some warning signs feel eerily familiar. Volatile markets, global supply chain shocks, rising inflation, and now talk of protectionist tariffs to strengthen domestic economies. So, what really caused the Great Depression? Are we headed toward a similar collapse? And what can we learn before history repeats itself? The Great Depression wasn't caused by just one thing. It was a perfect storm of financial missteps, global instability, and delayed action. Here's what happened. In October 1929, the U.S. stock market crashed, wiping out millions in savings. Banks collapsed because there were no safety nets, no FDIC, no deposit insurance. International trade slowed to a crawl, and global economies spiraled in response. Unemployment skyrocketed, wages dropped, and homelessness surged. Fast forward to today. Global markets are more interconnected than ever. Inflation is straining household budgets. Major powers are again talking about trade barriers and tariffs as solutions. And in some countries, debt is at record-breaking levels. In many ways, the world is better prepared than it was in 1929. But the economic pressures are real, and the decisions made now could define the next decade. Let's look at the deeper causes and whether we're seeing them again today. Stock market instability. In the 1920s, rampant speculation created a stock market bubble. People borrowed money to invest, expecting stocks to rise forever. When the crash came, margin calls triggered a chain reaction, and banks couldn't cover withdrawals. Today, markets are volatile, and while regulation is tighter, algorithmic trading, speculative investing, and crypto bubbles raise familiar concerns. Banking and consumer confidence. In the Great Depression, bank runs were common. People lined up to pull money out, fearing collapse. Thanks to modern safeguards like the FDIC, we don't see the same behavior. But recent bank failures and rising distrust in financial institutions still echo that panic mindset. Tariffs and trade wars. Here's the big one: tariffs. During the Depression, the U.S. passed the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act in 1930 to protect American industries. It backfired. Other countries retaliated, global trade slowed even more, and the economic downturn deepened. Today, calls for tariffs are resurfacing as governments try to stimulate domestic manufacturing and reduce dependency on global rivals. The positives of tariffs: can boost local production and protect domestic jobs. Reduce reliance on foreign supply chains, which is a strategic concern. The negatives of tariffs: may lead to retaliation and hurt exporters. Consumers often face higher prices for goods. Can cause global slowdowns if trade wars escalate. Tariffs are a tool, but they're not without risk. And history shows what can happen when that tool is misused in a fragile economy. One turning point during the Great Depression came in 1933, when President Franklin D. Roosevelt launched the New Deal, a sweeping set of policies that focused on public works, job creation, financial reform, and rebuilding confidence. It didn't solve everything overnight, but it transformed the role of government in economic recovery. And it led to the creation of institutions we still rely on today. Social Security, unemployment insurance, FDIC deposit protections, infrastructure programs. The lesson: in times of economic crisis, proactive leadership matters. Waiting too long or relying too heavily on isolationist strategies can turn a downturn into a depression. So, are we doomed to repeat the Great Depression? Not necessarily. We've learned a lot since the 1930s. We have stronger financial systems, safety nets, and global cooperation, at least in theory. But the danger lies in forgetting those lessons. Economic crises often build slowly, and when fear and short-term thinking take over, it's easy to reach for solutions that feel safe, like tariffs, protectionism, or austerity, but come with long-term costs. The key is balance. Stimulate responsibly, trade wisely, and plan for resilience, not reaction. What do you think? Are we on the edge of another depression, or are today's systems strong enough to hold the line? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for our upcoming videos. Until next time, stay smart, stay steady, and stay curious.